Hello, people of the interwebs. Today I want to install our starter theme into WordPress, which I'm calling our Titan starter theme. And I kind of want to go over the template files and show you how you can determine what page you're on and what you're editing and stuff like that. So let's get going. So I have MAMP set up, and in WP Content Themes, you can see here that I just dragged and dropped my theme files into here. Alright, so here's an instance of my local dev development running. You can see it's Titan 888. If you're using a free version of MAMP, it's probably localhost 888 or 8000 or whatever it is. I'm currently using MAMP Pro, so I can have a lot of different WordPress instances set up for different clients and things like that. Alright, so from your URL, you can just put WP admin, and you should have your login screen where you can log into your dashboard. I hope you're to that point in WordPress development, because if you don't know anything about that, some of these tutorials may be a little hard for you. But let's activate our theme. So from Appearance, Themes, you can see here that we now have Titan available. So yesterday I went over the style sheet and the details. So again, if we go to the stylesheet.css, these details up here, and I mentioned that these details are what show up in the dashboard here. So you can see here Titan, the version number, who the theme is by, and the tags. You also notice that this screenshot here is blank. It's blank right here. In our starter theme files, if you go down to screenshot.png, this is what this screenshot area right here. So I normally wait to create this screenshot and maybe do a screenshot of the finished theme, but you can make it whatever you want if you want to create it right now. So let's go ahead and activate this thing. Activated. Alright, so now we can reload the front end, and you can see that we have a starter theme here. So it's not really much to look at. It's actually pretty bland, which is great if you're creating custom themes, or maybe your designer passed off some PSD files and your task is to create a brand new theme, which is the funnest part. So what I'm going to do here now is add some styles and kind of have a base layout for you so we can kind of go through this and see what's going on. So if you're new to WordPress development or any kind of web development and all, my favorite tool is it in Chrome or Firefox. If you right click and you go to inspect, this little inspector tool down here, this is I love this tool, to tell you the truth. Like, this has taught me so much about front-end development that I can't even tell you. It's great. So if you've never used this tool, I'm kind of going to go over it a little bit here. What you can do is say, you want to see what kind of styles are applied to something. You can right click. Let's right click the title here, inspect, and this jumps right to that area. You can see as I hover over this H1 down here, also at the top, you can see that it's highlighted. So if I click on this H1, you can kind of go over here and you can see that it has some margin set, top and bottom margin, and 0 left and right. I can turn it off, and it inherits some other margin from somewhere else. But I can also edit this margin. Maybe I want to give it more margin. You can see it jumps. So this is like live editing. I can make changes here, and then I can go to my CSS file and add them if I like. So this tool is super handy. You can also apply some styles here. Maybe want the color to be black or something. Well, I misspelled it. It may not do it because it's actually the anchor tag that's setting this color. So jump down to this anchor here. You can see that the color's purple. Turn that off, and inherits this color blue. So again, this inspector tool is amazing, and we'll be using it throughout the tutorials moving forward and kind of get you a little bit more accustomed to it. But it's also cool. Just throw out some features here for you. If you click this little guy here, you can do different browser and phone types and iPad, stuff like that. So I can go to iPad Pro and it shows me what my site looks like. Go to iPhone 5, it can show me what my site looks like. So it's important if you're going to be developing themes, that your site's responsive, obviously, because that's where the web has headed, to have responsive websites all the way from mobile, to desktop. They need to look good in every device. Some other cool features is you can click this little guy over here and you can put it on the side. Maybe you like this view a little bit better. It shows more of your HTML, over here. I personally like it on the bottom. You can also break it out of the window and have it as its own little thing floating around. But I'm going to keep it on the bottom for now. And as you get more advanced, there's some other things that you can see here. The performance, or the network, as you reload, shows what's taking a while to load. So as you get into PPC and SEO, search engine optimization, you want your site to load fast, because Google likes fast sites. So you can come to this tab and see what's slowing your site down. Maybe it's a big image or something like that you need to optimize. So yeah, I'm going to leave that at that, and maybe I can cover some more stuff as we move forward. Alright, so let's jump into our theme files again. And what I'm going to do is just add some styles to these things, and so we can kind of see, I can show you in the template files what's happening and where you can find different things. So maybe you want to edit something, maybe you want to change the color of something, we can see that. So what I'm going to do is just lay out some base styling here. So what I'm going to target this site. You can see that this page wrapper, you can kind of collapse these things and open them up like that, these little carrots. You can see that this div ID with page and class of site wraps the whole site. So in my theme files, I'm just going to add some styles. These aren't going to be the ending styles. This is just this tutorial to show you, what's going on here. So I'm going to target the class of site again, which is this class right here, site. And let's give it a width of 1080 pixels, and then I'm going to do margin. I'm going to center it, margin 0 auto. So hopefully you know what this means. So that's the shorthand margin. It's saying this pretty much. That's saying margin 0 top and bottom, and auto left and right, which will make it centered. The long version of that would be top, right, bottom, left. So that would be the same thing, just a little bit longer, of course, with a colon there. So it goes clockwise, top, right, bottom, left. So when you're reading other styles, just know that that's top, right, bottom, left. So hopefully you know that much CSS. So that's probably the last time I'm going to go over something like that. But let's see what that does. So I'll save that file, and then I'll refresh my site here. Sometimes you got to give it a hard refresh. There we go. So you can see that if you look at this, you can see that margin on the left and right, set it to auto. And if you look over here to the right hand side of this inspector element, you can see that my styles have been added, and it tells you right here where these styles are at, which is pretty awesome. So you can see line 23 right there. If I hover over this, you can see at the very end of that thing, I can't put my mouse on it, but it says line 23 there at the end, which is very helpful if you're trying to narrow something down on how it's getting styled and things like that. Alright, sweet. So let's do something else here. Let's get our sidebar over to the right hand side, because that's what a traditional WordPress theme typically looks like. So if you go down to here to content, you kind of hover over that, you can see that content area is it encapsulates that whole area right there. So if I open this caret here, you can see I have this primary area and I have this secondary area. So the class of content area and the class of widget area. So let's add some styles here. So content area, I want to float that left, and let's give it a width of like 80%. And then we'll also do widget area and also float that left. And then to make our math right, the width here needs to be 20% to make sure that nothing else comes up in this float. So floats are kind of being, it's kind of the old way of doing things. Nowadays, you're doing CSS grids and Flexbox. So that's what Bootstrap 4 is going to, is Flexbox. And we'll be integrating Bootstrap in the near future. But again, this is just to kind of show you some examples of what's going on with this theme. So there we go. So we got our content area over here, we have our sidebar over here, and our footer is still down at the below there. So it looks pretty good. So now I'm just going to add some background colors to some things to break it apart so we can kind of go into our theme files and I can show you how the things are being pulled in here to kind of put it all together for you. So let's just add some things real quick here. Content area, let's do a background color of, let's say, purple. Let's do the widget area, background color of yellow, let's say. And what else should we do here? So we got that color, that color. Let's separate some colors up here so I can show you the difference between how the header and the menu and this stuff kind of rolls together here. So here we have site again. Within the site we have header area. We open that caret here. We have site branding, and then we have main navigation. So let's add some classes to that. Site branding. Let's do a background color of red. Main navigation, background color of blue, and let's go ahead and do the footer color as well. So hover over that. If you can't find it in here, again, you can always just right click whatever you're trying to find the code for, and there we go. We can see that the footer's in there. Go to the top area. That's enclosed in this site footer class. Perfect. So site footer, let's do background color green. Oops, green. Alright, so now we should have some pretty amazing colors here. Looks like the first website ever on the internet or something like that. So you can see here what I've done. I put some colors on here so we can kind of see what's going on. So let's go into our theme files so I can show you what I'm trying to show you. So here we go. Make this a little bit smaller for you. Bring this over a bit. Alright, check it out. So again, what we went over yesterday is the index file, or in the last video I should say, the index file, and how the index file includes this header and this sidebar and this footer. So this is the index page. This is the loop again. Remember how I told you that it's looping through my post, and as of right now, if I go into post, I only have one post. If I add more posts, it's just going to continue to go down this page, of course, until it hits a certain number that's set in the settings reading. It's going to show up to 10 posts right now. It's going to show 10 posts in this loop before that post navigation shows up. So what we have here is, remember, get header. So if we go to this header file over here and we look at header right here and we go to site branding, so you see here within the header we have this site branding. So in that site branding we have the custom logo, which is this right here, and it says if is the front page, and it's also the home page. We want to wrap it in this H1 tag, which I'm not particularly fond with for SEO reasons, which I'll change as we move forward and I show you how this logo thing is working. But it says if it's on the home page and it's the front page, let's go ahead and throw this H1 up here. So you can see here, there's an H1. Else, we're going to just put it into a paragraph tag. So let's go click on another page. So if we click on another page and we inspect that, you can see now that it's just in that paragraph tag. See how that's working? Pretty cool. But also notice that since we went to a new page, you know, our header stayed the same. This is the only thing that changed. We still have this navigation, we still have this sidebar, we still have the footer. And now let me tell you about how to determine like what kind of page you're on. So say you're on the home page and you click onto a single post and you're like, I want to change how this single post is laid out. You know, I want to change, you know, the colors, or I want to add a different font or something like that. A cool thing to do is inspect this, and then you go up to where the body is, this body tag, and this kind of gives you some cool details right here on what page you're on. It says post template default, single post, you know, so you can kind of get some ideas on what page you're on. So this says single post, so here we go, there's single.php. You can see that's pretty much what that's saying is, you know, it's using what's called a post class to give you what page you're on. So if you want to know how that's splitting that out, if you go into the header, header, you can see here that body has this body class right here. So again, we can Google this, body class, WordPress, go into the developer. Again, the developer thing kind of sucks. Body class. So you can kind of read about what it's doing here. Returning an array of classes. So it's pretty cool. Let me show you another example. So you go to the sample page. You go up here. You see that it says page template default page. You can see here. We can go over to page now, and then we have all of our, you know, copy for this page. I know it's this page. Sometimes maybe you don't know what the hell's happening. You can like throw some HTML in here to kind of say, is this the right page? Am I here? Reload. Oh, here we are. I am here. And there's some plugins out there that'll help you, you know, display what page template you're on. But in my opinion, they're really not needed if you kind of know how to use this body class thing. Let's go into something else. Let's go into, you know, an archives page, June 2017. You can see here this body class says archive, date, logged in. You know, those are just some, so this kind of, we can narrow it down that this is the archive page. So we would need to edit this page if we want to, you know, make changes to this page. And at a later time, I'll kind of show you how you can build out custom page templates and also different archive pages for custom post types, you know, search pages. Let's do a search for world. So you can see here the body class is search results. So now we can go to search, and that's the page template for that. So again, it's a pretty cool little way to figure out what page you're on and, you know, what's going on there, so you can make changes to the particular page. You can also use these classes to style these pages. You know, maybe I use the body class search results and I target all the H1s on that page, you know, whatever, to make them a different font or a different color or whatever you're trying to do. Yeah, so let's go back to the home page. Go into Hello World. Go down to the content. I want to show you this because if we go to the index page, you can see template parts, content, template parts, content. You can also see that this article, if we go down here and we look at article, it also has this post class. So it tells you the post number, post type. So you can use classes. Maybe you want to target the post class that has post number 1. You want to change the color of it. Maybe alternate colors as you post number 1, post number 3, post number 5, whatever it might be. This post class has some cool things in it. You can also add your own classes to this as well. Add. Let's see if that did it. Inspect this. You can see my new class right there. So that's better than, say if I wanted to add a class to this so I can custom style all my, it's better than, going down here and going div add. Then I gotta wrap this whole thing like that just to add that class, whereas I could just put my classes in here and I don't have to do that markup. So just cool little tips I'm giving you as I'm going here. There's no reason to add more div classes if you're trying to add a class. You can just add it to the post classes like that. Alrighty, so I hope I showed you some cool things here, how the theme's set up. Another thing that I can go over here in the index, you see here that it says get sidebar. So of course that's the get sidebar area. If we go into sidebar, remember that get sidebar is just getting this right here, get sidebar. If we go into here, you can see that class widget area that we targeted earlier in our CSS. Remember, widget area, we floated it left, put it to a width of 20%. Put it over here. So yeah, if we inspect this element over here, you can see that class widget area, you can see our styles over here that we've added. So the same with the footer, of course. Go back, the footer is going to be on every page that get footer is on. But if we go back to the index page, scroll down here, we have this footer area. So back to the index page, it says get footer. Footer, remember we used site footer there, we changed it green. Cool. So I think I'm going to end this tutorial here. If you have any questions, please leave something in the comment below. And I think the next video I'm going to start adding Bootstrap CSS, and we'll really start making this theme look nice with some Bootstrap styles. And if you don't know about Bootstrap, I can kind of go over that tomorrow. But if you want to kind of do a little homework or get ahead, I would recommend checking out Bootstrap. You can find it over at Get Bootstrap. If you're familiar with HTML and CSS, this thing is going to really blow your mind. It's just, all the elements that you would normally style yourself, they've already been styled for you. So say you go to buttons, you already have some pretty sexy looking buttons and things like that you don't have to style on your own. So I'm going to show you how to properly implement third-party CSS, maybe some jQuery, some things like that, and then we can start getting into template files and creating custom page templates and moving forward that way. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments below, and if not, I'll see you in the next tutorial.